So in our Facebook group or on Clubhouse, you've probably heard us talk about something like you need to record your cost of living in your market video, but you're probably like, well, okay, I don't know what I need to include. Well, in this video, we're gonna go over exactly what you need to include, where to find the information to make sure you're staying compliant, and overall make it an enticing videos for your viewers to watch. So let's get to it. Hey, what's going on? Aaron here, coming at you live once again from the Real Estate Marketing Guys, as well as Revamped Real Estate. And in this video, we're going over the cost of living video, how you shoot it, what you need to include, and also making sure that you're staying compliant based on some of the things that you're talking about when it comes to fair housing and steering and things like that. And make sure you stay to the end of the video because I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks of where you can actually source some of this information to make sure that you don't fall into this area where you're like, well, I don't know what to talk about. We're gonna cover that at the end. So with all that being said, very quick reminder, as always, if you haven't subscribed to this channel already, and you just really to get notified every time we upload a new video about YouTube or just social media in general, reach down there, click the button, subscribe, also notification bell to get notified every time we upload a brand new video here on the channel. So with all that stuff out of the way, let's get to the video. So this is the second video in our probably 10-part series of going over exactly what to include in some of these videos that we recommend that you guys create. So there's gonna be 2 other videos that are gonna make sense for you to watch, maybe not before this one, but after this one. So we'll pop it up on screen and in the description below. The first one is gonna be the 5 videos we recommend you to record. So that's a little bit more of a broad sense. And then the last one we did was how to shoot and record your pros and cons video. So you'll definitely wanna check that one after this too, if you haven't seen it already. So cost of living. This is a really big question that we get on majority of these that we talk about is, okay, like, can I have a script for these videos? And the reason, guys, that we don't like to script the videos is twofold. Number one, a lot of times when videos are scripted and you have literally every single word in order that you wanna say, there we go. A lot of times it comes off scripted. It comes off very robotic and you're like, hello, welcome back to another video here on the YouTube channel. Today, we are going to go over the cost of living in Virginia Beach. It just comes off so robotic and so rehearsed. So the framework that we use, and that's kind of the magic word that we always look at, is really more what we're gonna talk about. So that's really the first thing. And the second part of it, guys, is please, for the love of everything that is YouTube and content creation, please, please, please do not overthink this because it's all opinion. Now, I will say this one is a little bit more data driven than something like the pros and cons because you can literally just talk about what you like and what you don't like. But the things that you incorporate into the cost of living video is completely up to you. I will say you're definitely gonna wanna keep the real estate stuff in the video, right? So this is getting more to like the tangible, we'll say guide, is making sure that you incorporate the obvious things, right? So you wanna talk about the average mortgage, right? You wanna talk the average rent. You wanna talk about average utilities, right? Those are all the things that when it comes to gas or, are the, water, internet, things like that, maybe even branch that off into talking about the different internet companies and the different packages that your internet provider provide, providers provide, that makes sense. And then a little pro tip too is when you start thinking about some of these other topics, make sure that you don't go too far down some tangents, kind of like I'm doing right now, but don't go too far the tangents because you can stop like almost mid-sentence and say something like, honestly, I can go so deep into this specific topic, i.e. internet providers. I'm actually gonna make a whole other video about this, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you get notified when we upload that video here in the next couple weeks. Right? That's like, I was basically in video mode just then. But it's like when you put that out there and you almost give them something to look forward to, it's gonna help you, number one, keep your point a lot more concise. And number two, it's going to drive more subscribers to your channel for things that they might be interested in. So I'm gonna go ahead and just reiterate, put it up on screen, the different things that you'll want to incorporate when it comes to the housing stuff: average mortgage, average rent, average property taxes, average utilities, average gas prices is another big one. So really anything that someone would need to know if they're living there, that's just the obvious stuff, right? The boring type stuff. And what you can even say like at the beginning, and I always like to almost like call myself out in videos so that people can't say, oh, well, I knew you were gonna do that, or I knew you were gonna do that. It's almost calling myself out and saying, hey, let's start off with the boring stuff, the stuff that you probably expect me to say because I'm a realtor, right? You don't want them to like get the first punch, I guess you can say. I don't know if that's the best way to put it. Anyway, next. And to be honest with you, that's pretty much half of the video right there, right? Because you're going a little bit into detail, all those things. But then what what you can do is take it a little bit of a step further and start to focus maybe a little bit more on your niche or just things that you're generally, we'll say, passionate about, right? So for example, if your niche is families, let's say you work with a ton of families, and not saying you can and cannot work with specific people due to steering, but you can start to like form your content in a way where you start to incorporate different things that you're passionate about or your niche. So for example, you jump into the video and you start talking about, outside of all the boring stuff, you talk about average private school pricing, or you can talk about, private schooling. You can talk about maybe college if that's kind of in the same area. You can talk about, anything that would make sense for private schools, maybe summer camp prices, right? Things like that, and really, gym prices, whatever it may be, just so that you can start to carve out your own niche. So that, let's say, someone that's like a single, bachelor, we'll say, right? Like if you start talking about families and start talking about a bunch of that stuff, like they might not resonate, they might click off to it, which is a good thing. So you don't end up working with that person and it becoming a bad fit down the road anyway. Also, let's say you're really big into like craft breweries, right? Talk about what an average beer costs, right? At the local brewery. If you are someone that's into sports, right? Talk about an average game ticket at, wherever you're from. Talking about, let's say, the average, I already said it before, but the gym prices. Talking about what it's like to go out for like a day on the groceries or the night on the town, right? So there's just so many different things that you can start to incorporate into these videos, but I want you guys to remember that there's no right or wrong way that you put together these videos. Outside of like, this is even the wrong way if you don't incorporate it, but because we're real estate professionals and you want to incorporate the real estate stuff, so they just naturally have more questions when you give them all the other information outside of just the real estate. Average cup of coffee, I'm just literally throwing stuff out of the top of my head of ones that we've seen incorporate in some of these videos. And that is pretty much everything to incorporate into your cost of living video. Now, I know at the beginning I gave you a little bit of a teaser. I said, if you're struggling with, I don't know what to incorporate or where to source your information, here's gonna be a couple recommendations for you that you can go out and just basically get this information. So these are similar to what we talked about on the pros and cons video because we source our information from pretty much the same way. One of them being just crowdsourcing from your Facebook profile or, local buy and sell groups. You go make a post and say, hey, what on average are you paying for gas or paying for this or paying for that? Or you can make it a little bit more broad and say, doing a research project, what are your average costs on a monthly basis when it comes to real estate? And then they'll put out their rent and their mortgage and that kind of stuff. And then you can take that information, put averages, and then in your videos, you can really emphasize that. So what you can say is, instead of, I pulled it from this website that was made in 2018, or I pulled it from this resource, you can say, hey, this is as much of up-to-date information I can give you because I put this on my Facebook profile and took the averages of what everybody on my local profile is actually paying on a monthly basis. So that's gonna let you know that this is the most up-to-date and average that we can get. So that's one way. And then of course, the other ways of doing it is just looking and seeing what other people are doing. So highly, highly recommend, do not steal people's information. Don't like verbatim, just write down everything that other people are saying in their cost of living videos, but use that as inspiration, right? Use that, go to Google, type in literally cost of living in insert market. And a lot of times there will be different resources that pop up that say, here's a list of average cost of living in comparison to national average, or in comparison to, and then there's some sites that you can do like an actual comparison if you wanted to do something like that. So those are really the main two things that we put out there. To be honest with you, when I'm creating my cost of living videos for my markets that I'm in, is I kind of just wing it. I'll go out, I'll Google some of the information, and I'll literally put it out as I see it, and I'll make sure to reference that specific resource. So if it's cost of living website or whatever it is, I'll let them know, hey, welcome to the video. We're going over the cost of living. By the way, all the information that we're saying is gonna be linked down in the description so you guys can enjoy it there and make sure to cross-reference for your notes, right? That's the framing that I use. And it's not like it pulls credibility away from you or anything, because at the end of the day, you're a messenger. You're the messenger to make sure that they're getting all the information that they need before they pick up their family, move across the country, and end up buying a new house. Of course, they're gonna reach out to you for being that messenger in between and giving them the information that they need. And that is gonna go ahead and do it for today's video, giving you all that you need about the cost of living and how to create the cost of living video for your real estate market on your real estate YouTube channel. Now, as I said at the beginning, I'm gonna pop up some videos on screen either now or here in the next couple seconds. 2 videos. Number 1 you have to check out is all about the 5 videos we recommend to create for each of your markets. And the second video under that will be the pros and cons, how to shoot specifically the pros and cons video out of those top 5 videos. So Check out those videos. Also subscribe here on the channel if you are new and you want to learn everything about being able to build out your own real estate YouTube channel and generate dozens and dozens of buyers and sellers for free using this platform on a monthly basis. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. And yeah, Aaron here from the Revamped Real Estate team, as well as the Real Estate Marketing Guys, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace.